Now, a body is projected vertically upwards with a speed of 10 meters per second from a point 2 meters above the ground. The question says calculate the total time taken for the body to reach the ground. Take G as 10 meters per second squared. Okay, this is a case of a body projected. This is a projectile in one direction. So let's call this point the point of projection. I'll call that my point O. From this point, this body is projected with an initial velocity of 10. The velocity is acting upwards. Now this body is going to move from this point of projection along this path to this point P, which is its highest point in the path of the body. So on getting to point P, it will start decelerating. That is, it will start moving downwards in this direction. And of course, we know that the acceleration of the body, which is equal to the acceleration due to gravity G, will be taken as negative, since I will decide that this upward velocity is giving positive, that is upward direction is giving positive. It means the acceleration due to gravity of the body will be negative. Now, when this body gets to this point O, that is this point, which is on the same plane as the plane of projection, the total displacement is 0. And then, of course, you know, it's not going to remain here. The body actually falls below this level, that is below the plane of projection. So when it hits the ground at point Q, of course, the displacement of the body measured from this plane of projection to the ground will be -2. So any distance above this level is taken as positive. Any distance below this level will be taken as -2 meters. So at the point the body rather strikes the ground, its total displacement is -2. The initial velocity, of course, we are given that as positive 10 meters per second. The acceleration G is also 10, but we want to take it as negative. And what else? We have our S to be -2 meters. So what I need to find is the time T, time taken for the body to go from the point of projection all through to point P and then to point Q when it hits the ground. So I can invoke equation 2, S equals ut plus half at squared. Now my A is now -G. That will give me here S equals ut minus half gt squared. Now let me make my substitution. S is -2 equals u is 10 times t minus half times 10 times t squared. That gives me -2 equals 10t minus 5t squared. Now by the time I rearrange this, I want to bring -5t squared to this side of the equation, that is the left hand side. It gives me -5t squared. I bring 10t to the left hand side, gives me -10t. Already this -2 is on the left hand side, that's -2 equals nothing on the right hand side, that is 0. Now these two can divide through, or sorry, nothing can divide, so we can use one of the methods of solving quadratic equation. I can use the method of factorization, if you can factorize, or I can quickly use the algebra equation. This is my A, B is -10, and C is -2. So that gives me T equals -B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC divided by 2A. That's the equation we're going to use to solve this question. That gives me minus into minus 10 plus or minus square root of my b is 10, that's minus 10 squared, minus 4 times a is 5, c is minus 2, over 2 times a, which is 2 times 5. Okay, now by the time I evaluate that, I will have time t equals 10 plus or minus square root of, this is 100, plus 4 times 5 is 10, 4 times 5 is 20 rather, 20 times 2 gives me 40. Positive, because negative times negative is positive. That gives me over 10. So that gives me 10 plus or minus square root of 140 divided by 10. And then by the time I determine that is, find the square root of 140, it gives me 11.8. That is 10 plus or minus 11.8 divided by 10. Time cannot be negative, so I'm going to move to this side and have my time as 10 plus 11.8 gives me 21.8 divided by 10. So to 2 decimal places to give me 2.18 seconds. So you're going to take a time of 2.18 seconds for this body to hit the ground from the level of projection. I want to believe that you fully understood the solution of the question.